Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're going to be looking at the numbers today for control token. This is super exciting, and I don't think something like this has been done before. To have guaranteed value for everybody who has this amount of tokens staked is insane. To be able to, this will be an entry point. So say that you don't get into control token, you can come in and literally buy this amount of tokens, and this will be the rewards throughout the year. Now it will be a little bit less because these rewards are distributed. This is your total rewards for the entire year. So it's all your monthly, your 6 month, and your 12 month. This is not including your whale rewards and the unstaking fees. So this could be a lot more. But if you come in and you stake for an entire year and we hit this much in volume, this is what you'll get. Most of the rewards are in the 6 month and the 12 months. So people who are coming in and staking before the 6 month for the 12 month, and they get the 6 and 12 month, will be getting all of these as well. And this is assuming that half the supply is staked. So if less than half the supply is staked, then those rewards will be a lot higher as well. So if we just start with 1,000,000 tokens, which is about $1,000 or $1,200 around there in the pre-sale, most people are getting at least 1,000,000 tokens. If we do around 100 million in volume, and assuming that the buy volume is 65 million and the sell volume is 35 million, you can mess with those numbers. The sell volume just makes the rewards even higher if there's more sell volume. So I tried to assume higher buy volume with not as high sell volume, but if the sell volume's higher, then those rewards are going to be even bigger because the higher sell tax. Then the rewards for that would be 8.45 million and 6.3 million in the sell, and the total would be 14.75 million. Now, if you staked 1 million tokens with 500 million tokens staked, you're getting $29,500 with only 1,000,000 tokens with 100 million in volume. That's about a $1,200 investment with like a 28x return. That's guaranteed value, not including your ability to sell, not including the unstaking fees, not including the whale pool. That's guaranteed for every single person who has 1,000,000 tokens staked if we're able to hit 100 million in volume, which is not, this is not, the more that I look at this, the more I realize how possible and realistic this is. Other projects that don't have, a ton of utility or anything are hitting, 16, 20 million in volume, that don't have any like super value, and they still have this liquidity pool problem. SafeMoon hit billions in volume. Evergrow hit hundreds of millions in volume within months, and none of those projects were storing up value in the future. This is why I think we can do it, guys. I think we can make this happen. I think we can hit 1 billion in volume, and maybe a lot more. So you can see how these numbers like start to go up quite a lot for each 100 million in volume. If we're able to hit 200 million in volume at any point during the year, if we hit 200 million in volume for the whole year, which is like around 18 million or something million in volume a month for a year, for those people that have that 1,000,000 tokens, technically you got 1.2 million, so it'd be even more. And like I said, I'm not including the unstaking fees. I'm not including the extra whale pool if you're in the whale pool. $59,000, right, for only 200 million in volume for an entire year. You'd be making a total of $59,000 in an appreciating stablecoin, so that value is actually going to appreciate as well. We're not factoring in the fact that this value is appreciating, so it's going to go up even more than that. Which is really cool. So these are the low numbers with half the supply staked. If there's a lot less than half the supply staked, then these numbers go up a lot. But I'm trying to give a realistic but yet optimistic and potential of what we can see. As these numbers go up, the 300 million, and once again, I don't think that's crazy. That's $88,500 for every single person who holds 1,000,000 tokens. Now, in a typical project, you hold 1,000,000 tokens, you have the value in the LP, you get your chance to sell, you miss it, you get nothing, right? This is guaranteed value. The fact that we have guaranteed value, the fact that you can buy into the project and have guaranteed value is insane. I don't think I fully fleshed out, all of the positive implications of something like this. It's basically like things were so freaking bad before that just fixing them a little bit has insane, massive positive effects on the project, on the community, on the holders, on the sentiment, on the psychology, just by shifting value into the future and rewarding the people who keep the project alive and preserving that value from the negative effects of sell-off. All of these positive things happen. So people who are coming into the project will know, oh, cool, they've hit 300 million in volume. That means that, there's around $88,500 in the rewards spread out between the monthly, the 6 month, and the 12 month. And I can just buy into that. If there's a big sell-off, I can always just buy buy that and buy into these rewards, that's awesome. And those rewards can only go up between now and then. If we have 11 more months of volume, that's 11 more months of potential volume. 6 more months, 5 more months, 2 more months. There's always this potential where whether the price is going up or down, the rewards will only move upward. The fact that you can have this guaranteed victory for people and the ability to sell afterwards, after you get these rewards, you can choose if you want to sell or you want to stake again. It's up to you to decide where you think the project's going and whether it's going to be worth it to sell or stake again. But the fact that you have to consider, how many projects have you put hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars into that went to zero, right? They just nothing. You get nothing out of it, mate. You have to pull out 50, 80 bucks and go put that in something else or use it for gas or something. Not for your car, but for gas. You know what I'm talking about. When you compare that to this project, to have guaranteed value based on volume that you can't lose. You can't lose it. It can't go down. The amount can't go down until it's distributed, and the value of it can't go down. The amount can only go up. It goes up more with sells. The value can only go up, and the value goes up more if people are selling XUSD, that appreciating stablecoin. It raises the value of everybody else's XUSD. This is really, really cool numbers. If we were able to hit around 600 million in volume, which I think is around what Evergrow hit, and maybe it was more, for that $1,000, $1,200 investment in the pre-sale, that gets you, if we hit 600 million in volume, you'll have a guaranteed $177,000, not including the unstaking fees, not including the whale pool, not including the fact that that appreciates over the period of the year, and the ability to sell your bag. Like, this is insane. There's no way this project can't do well with something like this. That's how I see it. What I really want for this project, I was aiming for the 100 million, because technically, think about this, 100 million in volume, that's not crazy. I've watched other projects launch recently that have got like 20 million in volume. And it's like, hey, that's cool. Definitely possible for us is what I'm saying. Say we do 100 million in volume over the course of a year. That's like, 9 million in volume, a little over 9 million in volume a month for the year. Or we just hit 100 million in volume in the course of 3 to 4 months. Then everybody who has 1 million tokens staked, which only cost them about $1,000, is going to be getting around 30 grand back for staking for the whole year. That's insane to guarantee that for people. Usually nobody wins but the people that sell. The people that sell get millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Everybody else loses. This is an amazing structure. Anybody who looked at SafeMoon, and I'm not taking shots at Evergrow, you haven't seen rewards this good. You haven't seen a structure this good. This is what I've been holding back for years, is this idea. I didn't want anybody to take this. That's why I didn't say it, is because I knew I had a good idea, and I knew it had to be me that implemented it, because I knew that I could trust myself to not screw a bunch of people over. This is why I don't get any tokens. Nobody gets any tokens. SafeMoon was able to hit billions in volume. It had like 400, 500, 600 million in volume a day at one point, which is insane to have that kind of volume. And I think $1 billion in volume, people go, oh, that's stupid. You're talking about insane, like impossible stuff. And I'm like, no, not with the context of what this project is, by shifting value into the future, by uniting people, by protecting against sell-offs, by having permanent value that everybody's getting. Like, there's so many components to why this project, I believe, can be massive, because of the effect it has on the sentiment of the psychology of people. They don't have to believe a lie to help the project grow. With a lot of projects, you have to believe something that's not true to help it grow, and then you're just exit liquidity. With this, we have real value that you can believe in, that is math. You know what I mean? It's code. It's there. If we hit 50 million in volume, only 50 million, then for about $1,000 or $1,200 in the pre-sale, and depending on where the price goes at the start, with only 50 million in volume, you'd be getting half of that. We'd be getting about 15 grand. And you could be upset about that, but who's going to be upset about a project that they put 1,000 in and they made 14 grand? No one's going to be upset about that. And you can feel this confidence telling other people about this, that normally you tell other people about a project, if they don't sell, they lose. So this is like really cool to just buy, stake, get those rewards, and just kind of let it ride, if you want to take that approach to it. You can also take profits if you want to take profits, and you can also always take profits after you get your rewards, which is really cool as well. If we go into the billion, right, back to the billion, and I don't want to keep this too long, but if we go into the billion and we talk about how exciting it would be to hit $1 billion in volume, first, even just somebody who had 1 million tokens, right, and you got 1.2 million for about 2 BNB, which is about around $1,000. If we do hit that $1 billion in volume, then you'd be looking at almost 300 grand, probably over 300 grand with the unstaking fees and the whale pool rewards. Be getting over 300 grand, and that's guaranteed to every single holder that has 1 million tokens staked. If we hit $1 billion in volume and we have half the supply staked, and it's like, well, what's possible for a project? And I don't want want to undersell this project and aim for 20 million when we have the potential to hit $1 billion. I don't want to put that in your guys' minds to aim low, because we need to aim for what is the highest possibility of this project. Now, and I'm not trying to take shots, but if SafeMoon, which was designed to be a rug, which had reflections that empowered the whales even stronger, could explode and see billions in volume with a 10% in, 10% out tax that was constantly abusing the community and taking advantage of the community, then how much more could a project like this, which is shifting real permanent value, not potential value based on an exchange listing, a blockchain, a utility, producing profit that causes the price to go up, that maybe gives you a chance to take profit, but this is guaranteed preserved real value in the future leading up into a big event, a big reward event, the 12-month event. I think that this should be able to do better than SafeMoon. I think this should be able to do better than Evergrow. It's not a shot at those projects. It's because of the design. It's because of what it's actually doing. It's because it's that permanent value in the future and the effect it has on the community, the psychology and the sentiment. Psychology and sentiment is everything. And knowing that there's a hedge against the sell-off and that sell-offs fuel that value in the future, it's crazy what that can do to holders and how many people there are that are being scammed, that are being rug pulled, that are being pump and dumped. The market is saturated with such terrible projects. Control Token is like a beautiful young lady walking into a room full of ugly, disgusting whores that are, trying to, take advantage of you. I'm not saying there's not good projects out there, but they're just rare. They're super rare. Most everything is somebody trying to take advantage of you and scam you. And so to have a project like Control Token, it just really shines in the DeFi space. Now, if you put in more in the pre-sale, if you get 10 million tokens, you can put a 10x on all these numbers. And so for 100 million in volume, you'd be getting around 300 grand. For 100 million in volume, you'd be getting around 300 grand, probably over 300 grand for the year if you put 10 grand into the pre-sale. Now, we know that somebody dropped 60 grand into the pre-sale. That would be 60 times what that number is, which would be 1.8 million. Think about that, whale. You drop 60 grand at the end, and if we hit 100 million in volume, you'll be having 1.8 million in rewards and the ability to sell your bag. The important thing is, what is it going to take to get to this? And this is where it's super important. We understand this is all very realistic. It's very possible. These numbers are, I believe, insanely possible. It depends on what we believe. If people's expectation for a project is, oh, we're going to go up this high and then we're going to dump. Well, that's where the sentiment is. That's where the sell-off is. That's the ceiling. That's where the price is going to go. But if we all see the potential of this, and I really do believe the potential of this is far beyond what I think is possible. I think $1 billion in volume or billions in volume throughout a course of a year is very possible for a project like this. And so the higher that we see that potential, the more likely it is. And so kind of securing, when I was talking about how do we secure this future, this kind of future, it's to grow as much as we can in the beginning. And so the more confident everybody is, the more we enter the staking pools, the more we alleviate that fear of sell pressure, the more that we gonna have that upward movement. And the more we have that upward movement, the more that's gonna fuel the price, and the more that's gonna fuel the rewards and the effects of the psychology, the sentiment that's gonna have on the community. And as people come in, is going to kind of snowball upward into a skyrocketing movement like it usually does in crypto. As something moves up, it moves up exponentially until the sell-off happens, and we can see these numbers. And when you hit these numbers as a community, you know that by working together to hit these volumes, that you're not just benefiting yourself, you're benefiting everybody else who's helping the project grow. Never has a project been able to unite a community in value that goes to everybody else. It's only uniting communities in value that goes towards the sellers who destroy a project. Everybody who doesn't sell and profit loses everybody else's exit liquidity. Everybody working to grow the project was helping those people at the top take those profits. With a project like this, you know that if we work together and we get to that 1 billion in volume, you know that every single person who has 1 million tokens staked would at least be getting over 300 grand in stablecoin at the yearly event. With all of the monthly and the 6-month and the 12-month combined, you'd be getting a total of over 300 grand. That's a crazy thing. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying these words. How crazy of an idea is that? That's insane. This is the craziest project I've ever seen. Just it continues to blow my mind. So this is what we're going to be focused on, is uniting everybody in the future growth of the project. And the most opportune time for a project to blow up is in the beginning. It's in the beginning. This is the super important time that everybody's united in the future growth of the project, and they understand what that takes, the control that you guys have over the tokens that you have, the effort you put into marketing, and the effort you put into engaging with the community's marketing. That's the control you have over the future of the project. So these numbers are insane, right? So if you put in 10 grand into the pre-sale, if we hit that billion in volume at any point throughout the entire year, then you'd be making $3 million. Like, that's crazy. These rewards are crazy, and 1 million is a very low number. Obviously, as the price goes up, that's going to be harder to get. If we do a 10x, it's going to cost like 10 grand to get 1 million tokens, right? Then you can look at the numbers if you had 500,000 tokens. So then you could get 500,000 for 5 grand if we do a 10x. That's still a great deal, because you still look at these numbers, you divide them in half, and they're still awesome, right? That's still 15 grand for 500,000 tokens. If we do a 10x, you could still buy 500,000 tokens for 5 grand and still get 15 grand for the total year rewards. Like, this is a crazy idea. And the fact that value, this permanent future value, if we were to hit these insane volumes within the first 3 to 4 months, that's why I say it'll guarantee this future, because it provides these insane demand on these rewards, because you can buy the token and stake it and get those rewards. And the effects of this might be crazy. Like, the crypto world might explode with something like this. I don't know. We might see something that has never been done before. Or, if we hit that 500 million in volume for 1 million tokens, you'd have that guaranteed 147 grand for a year, plus the ability to sell your bag. Like, that, we're not talking about just choosing between selling your bag and rewards. We're talking about getting your rewards and then choosing if you want to sell your bag or not. This is the best project ever created.